got a thing for Chanel vintage that dropped before she could speak English. Do you love me and love seeking attention? I mean, which one is it? You keep calling me a twin, but twins ain't this different. Mentally, I'm already on next year. That's some 2020 clear vision. You saying let you...
Strategy. That is what I'm currently looking at and currently strategizing about. Light is horrible here, so let me get home and explain to you what I'm talking about. Now, you see, strategy is one of these things that are essential. You either have it and you don't fail, or maybe you still fail, or you don't have it and you definitely fail. You know what they say, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. Let me hop on the computer. As you may know, this arboristbutiken.se is the web shop for arborists that I run. So an arborist is someone who works with trees. And, you know, for example, if there's something that's wrong with the tree, they have to cut it down, they have to remove it, things like that. You know, these people who are tree climbers, they bring a saw up and then they cut down branches, they fell the trees, they can do all types of advanced stuff. So that's what I'm selling gear for. It's very niche, it's very specific. If you watched the vlogs before, then obviously you know this, but just a quick recap. And now, we've seen steady revenue growth over the last couple of years. We've had somewhat of a slowdown now in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, we did between 2022 and 2023, we saw a slight decline. Between 2023 to 2024, we actually saw another 12% increase because we did some strategic changes. We had a new website, we expanded into the EU, for example. But we're now getting to a point where we can't really expand in Sweden too much more. And that's where we have to evaluate, okay, what next steps do we take in order to grow the business? And so that is, I'm just showing you a quick overview here of how I strategize as someone who runs the business and a relatively small business with 3 employees. So obviously I'm the one executing a lot of this too, which is quite interesting. So revenue in 2024, and now this is cash revenue, so not counting increase in inventory, will be around $1.6 million. And then net profit obviously is a little bit less because we've invested a lot in marketing, we've moved to a new location, etc. But oh well, let's leave that for now. We have a couple of premises. If you're really interested in this, you can pause the slide. And we did a lot of things in regards to improving the system. So I think in 2024, we set a good foundation for the business in order to allow it to grow, because we didn't have the systems to do so. We were bursting at the seams. We had an old inventory management system that wasn't working at all. We had a pretty shitty website that wasn't very good for mobile. We had no ads whatsoever. We didn't know what we were paying for products, and we didn't know how many products we even had in stock. So we were always out of stock. But we did a lot of these things during 2024, which helped us set the foundation for being able to grow. So now I think there are a couple of different things, or a couple of different ways we could grow. And this is kind of where I'm strategizing now. So just to give you the context, if you have any tips or what you think, then feel free to let me know down below. But one way to grow is to expand the product portfolio. And what I mean by this is that we sell stuff for arborists, so climbing. That would be, we actually take in other climbing products that are for arborists, but we just expand within the same type of category. So picture this, if you have a food store, you're selling bread and fruit already, and then maybe you move on to selling canned goods. It's the same category and it definitely belongs in the same store, but it's another type of product. So in our case, it will be focusing a lot more on clothes. And the advantages here is that we can rely on our current customer portfolio. We wouldn't really have to reach new ones. But the disadvantage is that when you sell clothes, you have to handle a lot of returns, etc. Another way to grow revenue is to expand into the EU. So obviously we're based in Sweden, we're selling quite a bit to Finland and some other countries too, but we could probably expand a little bit into the Baltics, into the rest of the European Union, and particularly Finland and Denmark. The issue here is though that there's a language barrier, there's also a currency barrier in that they pay with euros, and we are also competing against some good local competition in those markets that are not as good as us, but they're definitely decent, which if, you know, we have expensive shipping or bad language, then that's a negative thing. Another thing is to improve margins. This is more of a valuation play, so I'm not really gonna talk about this in regards to growing the business. But then, product category portfolio. So this is where we take our current product portfolio and we hop into another adjacent type of business. So in our case, this would be, for example, forestry. If you look at forestry, that's machinery that's, you know, used in regards to logging or debranching, heavy machinery. Or we move into rope access. So rope access, as you saw those pictures of Arborist, if we now go and search for
rope access, those are relatively similar. They're using quite similar gear, but they're climbing in a more industrial environment. And we already have access to all of these suppliers and all these brands, and we have good margins on them. So this would also not be too difficult, but we would also be competing against some of the other companies which we're not competing against at all so far. So that's kind of where I'm at in regards to competition and obviously overall strategy of where do we take the business. So I'm currently now evaluating, do we go into another product category as a whole, i.e. we do rope access or forestry, something that's completely different from the arborist industry that we do now? Do we focus more on expanding internationally, or do we try to focus on the current market that we have, but we bring in new products that we don't really have, and in our case that is clothes? So I have to evaluate those. Obviously, they all have their different pros and cons, and they all come with different costs, both opportunity costs and actual monetary costs, which we will have to evaluate. So I'm doing some strategizing in regards to that. Currently, I am leaning towards that we're going to double down on actually rope access stuff. So, you know, we have this business and we have this adjacent business where there's some overlap, but actually start stocking all of those things as well. I'll maybe share a more detailed report on this in another video, but that's kind of where my head's at, and that's also how I think about this as someone running and having to make all of these decisions and execute most of them, as we're a very, very small team. Yeah, but that was it for today. It was a quite regular day. I'm also in a bunch of apartment biddings. I've been bidding quite a bit on apartments to get a new one. But so far we have not won any. We've actually lost one even, but it is what it is. It's part of the process apparently. That's what they tell me. But now we're gonna head to bed. It's 9:51. I've spent some time now doing the strategy stuff in the early evening, and then I also uploaded a YouTube video. So if you're considering learning Flutter, definitely go check that one out. It's this video about whether you should learn Flutter in 2025 or not. It's more of like something for you to consider if you're considering learning Flutter. If you're not, then obviously don't watch it, but still subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll show up in the gym, or maybe I show you some 3D printing stuff. We are coming towards what will be the end of the day here. It's 3 o'clock almost, and we close at 4 on Fridays. But I've done a lot of work for Arborist on the evenings and during the day, so now I'm coding a little bit. I'm working on Parenter, so we have this system where we use Airtable, and then I fix the bugs up here. Parenter is this app I've been working on for a while, and it's actually been launched this week. So these are kind of like the initial infancy bugs, so to speak, that we have to fix. Nothing major. But I've been spending half a year almost on this project, and it's now coming to an end, which is both fun and also a little bit sad, because I think it was a fun and good project. But it leads me to this question that I get quite a lot of DMs, etc., comments as well, people asking what I do. So I thought that I would go through real quick what the things that I do in a week are. So first of all, it's this, coding. And coding I do through a couple of different things. We have Parenter, so let's open this. We have Parenter, which is this app that I've been working on for some while now, and it contains, a lot of different screens. Big app, this one. Then we have Venture Pals. This is the app I own myself. So Venture Pals I own 50% of. I collaborate with another guy on this, and we're actually now just getting some people who are going to be working on it. And I do all of so Parenter, for example, is something that I do through my agency, and this is my agency, Palm Node Software Studio. So it's apps, integrations, all that kind of stuff. It's also sometimes, occasionally, it's websites, it's mobile apps, it's integrations. But now this latest project has been a complete mobile app. Now, the next thing that I do, and where I spend quite a large chunk of my time currently, is Arborist, and that's the store that I'm walking through now. So I run Arborist, which is the largest, actually, Scandinavian arborist reseller. So an arborist is someone who climbs in trees, and they, do the pruning, and they cut down trees that are unhealthy. And we have a lot of different SKUs here. So a lot of different products. We actually moved to this store back in August of 2024. It's now January 2025, so we've been in here for quite some time, and we've expanded quite a bit. We've taken on, selling chainsaws, etc., etc. And this business I actually don't really run myself. I have Frida, who works here like 60 to 80% of the time, and Vidar, who I've employed, who works here also like 2 days a week, something like that. So I don't do all of this myself, but it's quite automated, where we have to pick up the orders, and we have to, let's show you over here, we have to pack them because it's primarily an e-commerce. So we spend quite some time in here. So that's also one of the businesses that I run. It's the largest business in regards to revenue and in regards to a number of orders and customers, but I just take a salary out of this business as I'm not a majority owner. And then we move in here, which in this room, which is actually inside Arborist, we have the next business, and this is the 3D printing business. And this we do through Arborist Innovations, it's called. And we sell things like this, 3D printed year markers. We have some other things, for example, these are not what they look like, they're splice fits, some accessories for when you're putting stuff in the ground, some battery holders, and that we actually sell through Arborist and through a separate webpage which is called arbisterinnovations.com. This is a relatively small business thus far, but we only started it, or I started it back in September, but that's been quite a semi-successful one, but quite a fun one. It's a lot of fun 3D printing. Then my next business or project is the Palm U bags. So they're these that you've also been seeing in YouTube videos. It's these square bags. So those are actually bags that I designed and developed myself. They're completely square, so they stand up very nicely compared to a lot of these other rope bags that are a little bit circular, so they easily fall over and have a lot of fluff on them that you don't really need. So they've actually been doing quite well. I think in the first year we made like $30,000 in sales, and we only launched that in late July. So that was grew to become quite the brand quite quickly, which was always fun. So those are the things that I do over a week. It's Venture Pals. It is Palm Node Studio, which is now Parenter, is the app I've been working on for quite some time. I'll be moving on to a new project now in a week or two. I'll share more about that in another video, or maybe towards the end of this video. I do the 3D printing through Arborist Innovations. I also do Palm U bags, which is another company that sells through resellers worldwide. I'll leave all of these links down below, and you can check out that they're legitimate businesses. They're not anyone, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Unless you want to buy my products here, then for sure. But I'm not really trying to sell you a course or mastermind or anything like that. I don't believe in that shit. But that's what I work on. And then of course YouTube. Don't forget YouTube. I spend quite some time on YouTube just because, one, I think it will be good for my personal brand, and because I think it will be fun to look back at. And if I can help some people with whatever I share, I think that will be beneficial for both me and for people going forward. My next project actually will be a new type of app. I have had a meeting about this app in the store here today. That's where you saw me taking notes over there earlier. And I actually just ordered some UI from Fiverr, so someone will help me do a UI design there. And yeah, we'll get working on another app just as soon as we've launched and updated this one. This is the thing, the grind don't stop. You can't be like, if you want to get things out and if you have ambitious goals, like I've shared my yearly goals before, but one of them is to make $100,000 through software. And that is like, in excess of everything that I take out from this business or the 3D printing business or the poly business or the salary that I pay myself from here. That's excess of that. And that's quite an ambitious goal, but that means that I need to get to launching apps. And I have been launching a couple, Venture Pals. I've also released a inventory app. I've shared about that before, or I'm in the process of releasing that app. And then now we're going to be releasing another fun app. I'll share more details about that in another video. But yeah, that's it for this update. Quite a maybe boring video to look at and watch, but I get this question quite a bit, so I thought I might answer it what I do in a day or in a week, really. So now that's gonna be it for this Friday. I think we're gonna head to the gym quickly, and then I have some stuff to do with my girlfriend's family as it's her birthday, and then we'll see what we get up to into the weekend. But roll the vlog, man.
Maybach music.
Hey. Whoa.
made me this way, yeah. Before I'm gone out of this place, yeah. Put some flowers in my face, won't you? Let me know that I did okay, yeah. Don't wait till some other day, no, no. They let her wait till it's too late, too late. Hey.
Had a dream she was singing to me.
I've seen a lot of people do this, and it looks like it's quite good. And whenever I've eaten this food, it feels good the day after. And it's probably, you know, people say it's not good for you. My girlfriend here certainly says that it's not good for me to eat steak every day. But I've bought into this Instagram hype. So we're eating steak, avocado, eggs for dinner, no carbs, and then for lunch I eat whatever weird processed shit I can get my hands on. But you know, at least we're making some progress and eating good now for dinner. So we're gonna get this down, and then we're gonna get back to coding, and I'm gonna explain to you what we're working on today. It's a new app, and it's a quick weekend app. It's gonna make me a quick buck, hopefully, but also be good for other people when they study for a particular type of exam. So let's get this down, and then let's get to coding again. Alright, so it's a little later than I anticipated, but I've been coding now since around, I think 3:30 I started at this app, and now it's 12 o'clock almost. So yeah, I had dinner a little bit while too. But this app I built from scratch with the help of Cursor, my own coding skills, as well as ChatGPT. And what this app is, it's meant to be a study companion for this type of exam. It's called European Tree Worker. So it's people who take an exam in order to become a certified European tree worker, and that has all types of benefits inside of the tree care industry. And in this test, one of the components is a multiple choice question part of the test. And also, you know, studying these type of things helps build context for the longer answer questions as well. So a lot of people want to study this type of stuff. However, there's no app currently. So I thought, why don't we take the afternoon now and build an app for these lovely people? And that is what we've gone and done. So this is the app. I've built it using I forget what you call it, but it's a provider model and a UI structure where we fetch particular data. We then manipulate it a little bit in order to decide if the user has already answered it, for example, or if it's a brand new one, and then we display it on the screen. So this is the structure, kind of. We're fetching the questions with the question provider here, and then we have a bunch of different functions. For example, get correct answer count, where we go into the file that we have and we determine how many correct questions that the user has answered, for instance. And we're all working from a JSON file that we have inside of the assets folder. So here we have a bunch of these questions, almost 350 of them. And what we then do is that we allow the users to pick a category or pick all questions. And first of all, it's behind a paywall. So you get this little nice paywall if you're not subscribed currently. But also we have, I'm going to show you what it looks like if you actually use it. So if we go to UI and we go to the home screen, and then we set our entitlement to true, whoops, just temporary. Like so, hot reload, and then click this, for example, then we get to be able to answer these things. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. You go through, like so. Not really trying, you know, not that I would really know this that well anyway. Like so, and then you say, okay, I got 3 out of 7 on this run here. So I can either do 10 more questions inside of this category, I can redo the incorrect questions, or I can go to home, which is what I did there. Then you get a little bit of stats. You can see how many you've answered correctly, for example. You can see how many you have remaining. And then obviously over here we have a settings page where we're able to read about the app. We're able to subscribe to premium, get that nice paywall again. So that is how the app works in a nutshell. It's not super difficult, the code and all that. It's relatively simple. But I did this literally in hours, less than hours. And what we're gonna do now actually is we're gonna upload this to the App Store for review. So I'm gonna show you a couple of life hacks. So first of all, you need to generate these nice screenshots. And screenshots, you see, I think mine look pretty good. Like that. And one website you can use for this, write this down if you want to release apps, is Screenshots Pro. You can get a premium plan, but you can also browse templates and then you can get started just from that.
and make these nice types of screens where, you know, the phone's connected like that. You just hop in here and you insert your screenshot. So that's a big life hack. Another hack for making these app icons is you can make a logo in Canva. Just choose a square logo and then make that in Canva. But then go to app icon generator, and it's called appicon.co. You just drag this file into this. So for example, let's take another random picture. You drag that into there, you press generate, and it will automatically generate all of the app icons that you need, which is super smooth. So those are a couple of hacks to get this done as quickly as possible. But then after this, I've gone ahead and I've input all of the information. So for example, a nice description. Make sure if you're submitting an app to be as detailed as you can inside of this notes, where you can explain to the person reviewing your app essentially what you're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with the latest build, which is build 4, where we give access to a couple of questions for free to begin with, and then we ask the user to subscribe. This is an Apple rule thing, just because they don't want you to hit them with the paywall as soon as they downloaded the app, because in that case they'd rather the app be paid up front. So we're going to press save, and then after that we're going to go ahead and add for review. And if we don't get any errors now, we should be taken to a page where we're able to send this for review. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit boom, submit to app review, and then we're just going to hear from the lovely people at Apple once they've approved this app and people can start downloading this. And then I'm going to be quite interested to see, like, if people are going to be, you know, up for paying for this. I've currently priced this at a custom price, subscriptions. I've currently priced this as a non-renewing subscription, meaning that you subscribe for 30 days. And then after that, you're able to renew if you want to. So that is what we have. We're gonna see if this gets approved. Yeah, that's it for that little quick app update and quick app build. Quite fun to build these apps that you can upload and hopefully make a couple of dollars and help some people for in the future. So that was a quick look at the code and some tips on how to get your app up and done as soon as possible.
Me like Gladys Knight. True love in the projects is called paradise. All your niggas left, you wasn't acting right. But honesty itself a small sacrifice. My money bag heavy got me begging like. You moving funny, can you feel my appetite?
Have the same type of matching that then puts you into the matches list, which is also a chat. Stadigt känns det som. Ja, men vi siktar på att dra in en 80 000 användare på ett år.
Interesting, but it was just...
Okay, so we're back home for whatever clip you just saw last. We're gonna leave it there. This is gonna be a very short but explanatory vlog of me showing a couple of things on the computer, which I know a lot of people have asked for. So that's gonna be it. If you wanna see more of these videos, let me know down below. If you don't wanna see them, also let me know down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.